Hello my darlings, welcome to Quits Gaming. My name is Silva and today we are doing another art stream. While everyone gets settled in, I swear this cord gets hung up on so many things. I am going to be working on a couple old things, and then if we get more people I will be fucking blanked. If we get more people, then I will be taking requests, but for now I'm just going to work on some stuff. Nothing serious, nothing that exciting. This is just a... oh, I love that. This is just a... oh, that's why I didn't have a look. This is just a thing I have been working on for Red Kryptonite, who has been helping me with shoutouts, and because of that I wanted to give him a little bit of help on his artwork. And you know me, I do love my artwork. You also know that I'm not that big on coloring because I hate coloring. I will try my hardest. So how is everyone? You guys doing well? Staying out of trouble? Everyone having a good Friday? I can honestly say that mine could be better, but I can't complain. I mean, I'm alive. Tired. Very, very tired, but alive. So, you know, it's kind of hard to complain at that point. Honestly, I will be surprised if I get that many people, but hey, anyone who does show up is welcome to show up. We're just gonna take this with a Bob Ross sort of attitude, right? Just set your expectations so low, there's no way you'll ever be disappointed. Isn't that right? Yeah. Like that. So low, you'll never be disappointed. But regardless, I hope everyone who is tuning in is having a good day. I hope you're excited for the weekend. I'm excited to sleep in, because honestly, tits, huh? Because honestly, it's been a long week. I'm just gonna say that. It's been a long week, and I am ready for some rest. We can draw tits later. I actually need to do the artwork for Quits, which has all but been sitting dormant for a while, because I've mostly just been waiting to get around to it. Because you guys know how that is, right? When you can't exactly get around to... that's not what I... when you can't exactly get around to doing what you want. How's it going, Cuervo? How's it going, Red Kryptonite? I'm actually drawing Red Kryptonite's video banner, or at least the mascot for his banner, which is just on the final stages, honestly. Alpha Luck. because for the most part, a lot of it is already done. It's just got to get a little bit of shading in that I realized I did not. There we go. A little bit of minor shading. I don't do a lot of shading on my stuff because I've never really been very good at it or very fond of it, honestly. So when it comes down to it, I tend to not do a lot of shading. I tend to do more subtle stuff like this, where it's almost all airbrushed and kind of subtle, as if I didn't already say subtle, right? It's funny because I can actually see it better on this screen than I can on this screen because of the fact that it's a dark color. But, you know, that's to be expected. Looking good. Takes just a bit of focus. There we go, to do this. I did look at the drawing tablet that you were getting. It actually looks really good for you. I think it will be a really good thing for you. I personally got a little spoiled. How's it going, Blood Rose? I personally got a little spoiled with this, but it is what it is. I mean, sometimes it's easier to do things on some stuff than other stuff. Let's get a little bit darker, get some more depth in there. There we go, that looks nice. Some more. There we go. But either way, how is everyone? It's been a while. I'm always spoiled. Also, I'm glad you like it, Red Kryptonite. What do you mean I'm always spoiled? Fucking... Jesus. My headphone thing is constantly getting in the way. It's so frustrating. Cool, get that. I realized it wasn't darker. Also, I'll have you know that the only reason I'm spoiled is because I spoil myself. Because no one else does it for me. I can tell you that much. Oh, thank you, Minecraft Carson. Oh, thank you, Poison Viper. How do you wear down the pen nub? Well, the way that the Apple Pen works is it's a small nub which screws out. Boop, boop. Has like a little metal thing, which is a sensor. I'm assuming it's a sensor. How else could it? And it's basically just a plastic little nub. And you can wear it down by like putting too much pressure on it, but that's not going to be very likely. Most likely you're going to end up breaking it, which is why they include an extra. But in the off chance that you do wear down the nub from repeated long amounts of use, then you can buy a replacement. But most of the time, you're going to end up breaking it in some mishap more than actually wearing it down. Because I have this right here, which I used for the longest time before I got an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil, which basically has this clear disc on it that, for the most part, can register on an iPad as a fingertip can. Because it's clear, you get more precision. The problem is that after using it for about 4 years, I want to say it was 4 years, it was 3 or 4 years, it basically decided that the layer... Cuervo, stop it. And no, it wouldn't. The layer of adhesive between the flat disc and the part that was holding it loosened and it slipped off, which basically means that it's no longer giving that contact. So I had to order a replacement, and then shortly after I ended up getting this. So kind of defeated the entire purpose, but still. You are not, no, you are not light enough. Don't like that at all. Don't like that either. I don't like this. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to a different brush. The light pen is what I use a lot when I am... Who told you to use it like a crayon? What do you mean, use it like a crayon? It's just how things are sometimes. That's way too large. That's also way too large. God, I don't like that at all. I think I'm going to go back to airbrushing and just give it something subtle, because I cannot stand that too much. Smaller. Too much. Softer. Too small. There we go. That way when it zooms out, it gives it just a little bit. Cheekbones for days. I know. I wanted to get a very crisp looking design, and the thing is he's only going to be from about here up. Actually, probably not even that. I want to say like here up. So a lot of him is not going to be visible anyway. Which is nice because it means that I can do quicker work with less effort. Nope, too much. Basically means I can do quicker work with less effort, and I'm able to get some things done without having to worry about the amount of time I'm spending on it, because when you have like 4 different commissions you're trying to work on, after a while you kind of want to get them done as soon as possible, because A, you don't want to make people wait, and B, you have a lot to do. No, too much. Just kind of trying to feather that out a little so it doesn't look quite as pronounced. There we go. Now, what to do with the eyes? See, the eyes are technically supposed to be glowing. So if I wanted to... Oh, that reminds me. I also have to maneuver you, because you aren't quite straight. I say you should probably be like that, because of the way that the thing goes. Yeah, that looks better. And if I'm not mistaken, there should be a luminance for... There we go. So what we need is red. Oh, that's that's not the right color, red. Let's get really in there. I want to make sure I have the, oh, god damn, it really, what the, it really is not very accurate, unfortunately. So when you're doing this, it's a lot of specifically pinning it on the right spot, because you hit a point and it's not the point that it's actually hitting. But don't want to be a jackass. Copy, paste. Oh, god damn it. There we go. Merge down. Assassination I don't know what Assassination Nation is, unfortunately. Midnight. I've never heard of that in my life. Perfect. So that is more or less done. We are going to call that done. I will get this saved and get that to you, Red Kryptonite, as well as getting the video. Assassination Nation. What the heck is the Assassination Nation? Well, here, let's turn that off real quick because I have to pull something up. Draw my feelings. Poster. All it is 4 chicks just standing there. That's stupid. No offense. The movie might be good, but that's stupid. I'm not drawing that. Aw, thank you, Red Kryptonite. So we are going to probably pull up another one while we're here. Let's see, we finished masks. Oop, and there went my stuff. We finished gens. I can't do NSFW on here, so we are going to work on quits. Well, maybe next time, but right now I actually have a lot of stuff that I have to do as far as my own stuff. If I was just doing little doodles and stuff, I don't think it would be a problem, but I'm not going to do like an entire movie poster for a movie I've never even seen. But I actually have to do all of this inked. Give Quit some pants. Quits doesn't need pants. She's a cat girl. Cat girls don't wear pants. So, problem with this is that unfortunately, it is, how to explain this? The type of work I need to do on this is in pieces. So she is going to be used for a specific 5 feet apart because they're not gay. She is specifically going to be used for a program called Live 2D, which means that every single thing has to be in pieces. And it's going to be very strange because essentially I have to create everything moving independently of itself. Can we have a schoolgirl version of quits? I don't see why not. I could easily make a schoolgirl outfit for her. I'm not school age, so I've never really felt compelled to, but I mean, if you guys want school age quits. So, God, this is going to be a pain in the ass. Can I... Can you make folders? Sure you can. Sure you can make folders somehow. You like... There we go, okay. So basically, we have to put all of these into a folder because we're going to put all the others into a folder. It's going to be a pain in the ass. Oh, God damn it. How's it going, Heinous? How's it going, Heinous? School teaching age? How's the hangover? Do I want a character that's the right age for school? I mean, Quits is kind of the personification. God damn, really? You're gonna do that to me? Quits is kind of the personification. Well, actually, you can stay in there because you're not used. These are like leftover pieces that I haven't used for anything. There we go. Let's just delete that. Can we delete this? There we go. Okay. So that's a group. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. So these are also going to be a group, which makes it a lot easier. Oh, thank you for the follow, Anus. Any tips for drawing anime eyes? Honestly, geez, eyes are one of the few things that I'm really good at, and I can show you specifically on this, or actually, yeah, why not? So, this is Procreate, which is a program specifically for iPad and iOS. So, with eyes, with anime eyes, they're a little bit... Quits is the Persona 5. Persona 5 is a good game. I haven't played it, but it's a good game. So with a lot of eyes, like, you're going to see Disney eyes. And Disney eyes are basically, like... Then they usually have, like, the eyebrow, and... The main concept is that this is the eyeball right there, and that the eye is specifically this part. So if you officially are drawing the eye, what you want to do is have the eye, the eye, the eye, and then basically like that, and then the eye's like over here, that. So that is pretty much like the Disney concept of an anime eye, which to some extent you can use for anime as well. However, I have a tendency to do more abbreviation when it comes to anime eyes, which you'll notice I do a lot of abbreviation with a lot of my artwork, including hair. So, like, for example, you're going to notice that the hair is usually a large grouping as opposed to drawing each individual strand or like small little groups of strands. I do the same thing with eyes. I have a tendency to doodle eyes more than anything. So the anime eye can essentially be composed of just a few pieces. Oh, thank you for the follow, Arrow Ninja. The anime eye can basically be composed of just a few simple pieces. A lot of people have a tendency to see very... I wouldn't fuck either of them, Soul Eater. This isn't Would You Rather. What was I gonna say? Oh, yes. So a lot of people, especially beginning artists, will look at anime eyes and they'll see all these beautiful like shapes and different not keystrokes, different strokes and eyelashes, and they'll see all these different things, and it's very overwhelming at first. You have trouble trying to break it down into a comprehensive structure that you can understand at the beginning of attempting to learn this. I'll kind of break it down for you. So the anime eye is essentially made out of just a couple pieces. That is at its root. You can add a bunch of other stuff onto it, but for the most part, there isn't a lot to it. There is the top eyelid, which I have drawn, which some artists prefer to go down like this. There is oftentimes, but not always, they're constantly on a Coke binge. I could see that. There is oftentimes a lower eyelid, which sometimes can be held like this, or sometimes they actually do curve it around and make it just one big concept. And then you could have like some additional parts. You can have like eyelashes. Forgive the bad pen strokes. It's not really made for keeping. I'm just kind of using this as example. So you can have like anime eyelashes like that, but it's still technically the same pieces. It's the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid so far. All the other things are pretty much just icing on the cake, but you still have the same main structure. There is the eyeball. So, in reality, your real eye will look more or less kind of like that, just depending on what shape your eyelid is. There's like the tear duct. There'll be like little things. And your eyeball itself will come down, almost touch the bottom eyelid, but will often vanish up here. So you'll see it so that that is essentially a realistic eye. Anime eyes follow similar, but not always. My favorite anime, Azumanga. So, although many different animes will in fact follow that concept, where the eyeball, or not the eyeball, the iris, which is the colorful part of the eye, that is this part right here, will touch or come close to touching this bottom lash line, the bottom eyelid. Not always though, because if you see any type of surprise or shock, they will usually draw it with a single small dot. This is to show shock, surprise, panic, anxiety. This is the type of expression that they will give it in the event that the character is going through a significant amount of emotional distress. It's basically meant to simulate when your pupil contracts. And your pupil, for those who don't know the terminology, your pupil is the black part of your eye that is surrounded by the color, which is your iris. And there are people who will draw anime eyes to be more dramatic, I guess you could say. Those are the ones that literally will come down and pretty much like vanish completely into the white. Citrus or Netsusu Trap? No, I have not heard of either of those. And actually, Azumanga Daioh does not have anything to do with Tentacle Cuervo. It is surprisingly a slice of life that has to do with a bunch of high school girls and a 10-year-old who happens to be a genius, and how they fuck up all the time. So, more or less, you can basically draw the iris of the eye at any different diameter. If you want a cuter character, you tend to draw with larger irises like this. If you want a more adult character, you would draw them with smaller irises. Now, when it comes to the actual iris and the eyes in general, you often are going to have a couple different options as far as highlights go. So, the basic, stereotypical, often found slice of life is basically like a sitcom. Often found will be a highlight that will basically go like halfway. Oh, thank you, Moody Grill. Will go about halfway through the eye, just white. Then you'll end up having some form of the pupil, and as an abbreviation, the rain stopped. As an abbreviation, they will often bring it down like this. You will end up with this being the pupil, often a dark color, and let's just say that color will be the iris. So that'll be like in this part. And that'll be your eye. Oh. There are a lot of different ways to do this. You can go more dramatic. Some people will specifically, let's get this, there we go. Some people will do like small dots. Another big one is having a slice of light, as well as like a couple small dots here and there, which basically simulate the reflection of light. And I've even seen ones that just have like a single literal iris, like that. And then here, let's just go back here. It's color. That's the color, and then, oh, it helps if those are accurate, right? There we go. And then they'll literally have like that. For the most part, I have a tendency to do things a certain way. If I had to do my favorite way of doing eyes, oh, thank you for the follow, T42. Oh, Cintiq. Those are nice. Oop, just threw my Apple Pen. If I had to do my favorite method, or the method I have a tendency to do, then I would probably do something along the lines of having the pupil. And I lately have been doing this where it tends to be darker at the top to simulate the fact that light is coming from the upper area, hitting the lash line, and causing a shadow on the iris, because the iris is a three-dimensional object. It's technically a very shallow concave cone, which would allow for this part to all be a lighter color. And for the most part, the great thing about this is because it's technically a digital medium, you can play with it. And I like to put light over, it helps if it's actually white. I like to put light over the actual thing in the fact of having it being like there's the light. And then if you wanted to add dots, you can be like, there's a dot, there's a dot, there's like, I don't like that, but you know, you can actually put a couple things, but having the highlight go straight across the eye does have a tendency to give it a more three-dimensional depth because of the way that light will actually reflect off of a curved surface, nonetheless off of a round surface where it will often curve across the very center, which is furthest away, which means it's closest to light. So if I had to take a method that I prefer drawing things as far as eyeballs go, because I draw a lot of eyeballs, it would be that. I also have a tendency to do more than this very simple concept. I usually will give like a lot of little tiny, you know, details, tiny lashes. But what I will do is I will often draw an eyelid. And that just kind of gives the character a little bit more depth. It gives their eye socket a little bit more definition. And then you go up and you give them an eyebrow. Because if you ever had a chance to look at any of my doodles, I almost always draw eyes because I find them the most intriguing, and I almost always draw an eyebrow with them. And so it's a little weird when you're drawing so many. And I mean, I can seriously, there's different variations, there's different angles. You can do like what is known as like the puppy dog eyes, where they will droop down and look very sad. That, even if they keep going down. Then you have it like that, where they give them a more long, like oval iris. There's the eyelid, there is the eyebrow. Give it just that quick little type of eye that I explained. You can also make ones that are more predatory. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Overland, for the follow. You can also make them more predatory, where you make them more swept up and then bring them down. Actually, almost looks square, doesn't it? And Quits has a tendency to be almost more cat-like in the fact that they sweep up. And you can actually make them very squat, very narrow. I've seen ones that, there we go, it's nice. I've seen ones that are very like slitted, almost sleepy looking. They'll often like join the lashes when that happens. My leg is falling asleep. Ow, my leg is falling asleep. Whereas if it was real, it would obviously have like that lash line, the eye, and then you'd actually get a real eyebrow, which is a lot of different hairs all, you know, done like that. I do not like realism. You might have noticed. I do not like realism whatsoever. It is not something that I enjoy. Oh, thank you. It is not something I enjoy. I don't like realism because I grew up watching cartoons, playing video games. I have no interest in realism whatsoever. However, as sad as it is, many times if you ever go to an art school or an art class, you are going to be expected to learn realism. I had a teacher that tried to make me learn realism, and I absolutely hated it. But a lot of abbreviation and symbolism is derived, God, I hate it when my pen does that, is derived from realism. Basically, you can't abbreviate something if you can't understand it. Booty cam. So when it comes down to it, I would suggest learning the concepts of realism, but not necessarily forcing yourself to do them. Because, how's it going, Tree? How's it going into Simulant? Because unfortunately, when it comes down to it, you're not going to really want to do things by realism. I look like an egg. Alright, have fun with that. I know I personally hate realism, but, you know, that's just how it is, right? 1 second, guys. Alright, there we go. So, that is basically like the whole concept behind drawing eyes. I personally have other things that I would rather be doing than drawing realism. There we go. But that's just me. That is why you will see that I have a tendency to draw things that are a little bit better than realism. Ironically, believe it or not, if any of you are familiar with J. Scott Campbell, he has drawn some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. They're very exaggerated, and I actually didn't put on slow chat. I just blocked them from showing up in my chat. He draws some of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen. He doesn't do it in anime style. He does it in a comic style. And he actually is a very famous... Oh, thank you, Autumn. I actually did draw this. He actually is a very famous artist for comic books. He's done several very popular renditions and series, and he's actually done different sketchbooks and things like that that he sold on his own. But if you ever see his artwork, I definitely would suggest looking it up if you like artwork, especially of ladies. Monster guy. Oh, no. He just draws artwork. He does like Danger Girl. He drew Supergirl, things like that. But he does some beautiful women. And they are not realistic whatsoever. And he was actually told when he was younger and before he became popular that he would never be successful drawing women in an unrealistic fashion like he does. Well, they were wrong. Aw, thank you, Cynthia. They were wrong. He actually has done a lot of amazing work, and he does have fans like me. So that just goes to show you that obviously, thank you, Autumn, that obviously it doesn't really matter what you draw like. Draw how you want to draw. Because if you're not happy with what you're doing, then obviously you're doing something wrong. And it doesn't matter if people like what you're doing, as long as you like what you're doing. So, this is Quits. She is our channel mascot, if you haven't noticed by the fact that she is located over to the right, my right, your left, over there down in the corner. She is going to be used for a very specific program which requires a very awkward and unusual way of drawing things. So I'm going to be drawing in some pretty strange layers for this. So if you notice that I'm jumping from layer to layer, that is why. So I just felt like I should let you guys know that, because obviously it's not going to be the... God, I don't... There we go. It's obviously not going to be the exact same as if I was just doing a normal picture. God. I know it's super weird to ink something when you've been doing stuff for so long in doodles. And in all honesty, a large portion of inking is literally just redoing it until you're happy with it. Over and over and over again. I might actually come back and ink this when I'm not being watched, because it's making me a little bit... Oh, that one's not bad. Too bad I did it backwards. It's making me a little bit self-conscious of how many times I have to do this. Oh, thank you, Blaistro. A lot of effort. I'll tell you that much. It's a lot of effort. Especially having to go through and redo it over and over again. The fact of figuring out how I'm supposed to piece this together is driving me nuts because this program is one I'm not used to. And I'm going to essentially have to draw it in pieces of layers by the actual body parts. So the arms have to be drawn separate than the torso has to be drawn separate from the neck has to be drawn separate from the head, the eyes have to be drawn separate from the head. It's like really weird. So that seems like a lot right now, and I don't want to do that. So we're just gonna doodle for a while because I could not even cope right now with that. There we go. Nice blank canvas, right? It really is strange because the program itself, if you've ever seen it, look up 2D custom or live 2D or whatever it's called, and you will see it actually, everything moves in an almost sectional amount of pieces. It's really strange. But anyway, so for now we're just going to doodle. And I'm trying to find a comfortable position where I can prop something on my lap because I'm trying to draw, and it's very difficult right now in this position. So we are just going to doodle because I like doodling. Doodling's fun. Doodling has no expectations. Things don't have to make sense. They don't have to come out well. Oh God, no. Didn't like that at all. That's actually a very nice wind sound there. So in case you're not sure what's going on right now, I realized I made that. Her head is hella tall, isn't it? So in case you're not aware, I like listening to music, but I don't want to get copyright strikes because that is a thing, unfortunately. And because of that, I have a tendency to listen to various ambient noises, I guess you'd call them. There we go. So I don't really know what this is, but apparently she's, I don't know, an elf? She kind of looks like an elf. I feel like I should fix this hair though, god damn. One problem with doodling with, here we go, that's a little better. One problem with doodling with a pen is you never quite get the hang of proportions when you're first drawing. Have a good night, I keep wanting to call you Heroine. Have a good night, Heinous. It was great for you to stop by, and thank you for the follow. Let's make her an elf. Elves are big, and she kind of gives me that elf impression. We're going to give her like those ridiculously long ears. Because everyone likes elf girls. Or at least maybe likes elf girls. I've never really asked everyone if they like elf girls, but I'd like to think that there's at least a good deal of them, right? Like people that like elves. Like people seem to like them in Lord of the Rings. Why does it look like Link? Is it just me? Looks like Link to me. Let's give her like a cute little pixie cut. She's long bangs and short hair. There we go. That's looking kind of nice. I feel like she needs something there. I mean, shit, this might actually be a boy for all I know. Kind of looks a little androgynous, but then again, I might be wrong, but aren't elves androgynous anyway? Like, isn't that a thing? Aw. Thank you, XXC Moa? Oh, I love kittens. Bagel? Bagel the cat. I love it. Thank you for the host mask. But yes, if I had to take a guess, I don't know, like a lot of elves that I have seen are pretty androgynous. I don't even know what the hell to, like, I don't even want to give it a chest because I'm afraid that it's gonna look unandrogynous if I do. So instead, we'll just see. It's a good fair skin color. Painting. Airbrush. Layers are your friend, for the record. It's so nice being able to erase something that's underneath as opposed to doing it because it's all on the... honestly, Mask, I have no idea. I just started doodling and this is what came up. I didn't really plan on making anyone in particular. Yellow. I don't know, high elves have yellow hair. That seems about right. It's like something that's common to them. Yellow and like white. I just realized I forgot to color her ear. You know, the one part that makes her an elf. Oil brushes are nice. I will admit that. I really should try working with more paints and mediums. I just have a tendency to kind of go with things that I know and are tried and true. I guess you could say it's from habit. So I have a tendency to do eyes kind of go like that. And then, nope, not what I wanted. I wanted luminance. So it has a tendency to be more like that when it comes down to what I draw. Oop. That wasn't white at all, was it? There we go, that's better. Has to blend in, but if her eyeball's gray, it's not going to blend in, is it? So that's kind of like how I tend to work with, aw, thank you, Autumn. That's how I tend to work with different, eyes and the shapes and the highlights and everything. And you can actually get into, like, further detail. Like, if I wanted to, I could take luminance, make it tiny, go into here. That. Kind of just make it so that it's almost like a three-dimensional thing in that. And then a great thing about doing luminance is because it also works amazingly for hair. A little too bright. And if you wanted to make it bigger, well, thank you. A lot of this is just stuff that you're going to learn through experience. And honestly, more so than that, you're going to learn it through just watching other people. I would suggest, honestly, watching other people draw. There are a million great artists out there. Especially when it comes to anime artists, there are so many great ones. And didn't like how that worked. There we go. There we go. There are so many great artists when it comes down to it. And all of them just do such a good job. I mean, look up a couple speed paints. You'll be surprised what you can actually learn. But many of them just practice. That's all they do. They just practice day in, day out, even if it's not every day. Even if it's just a couple times a week, a couple times a month. Hell, sometimes I go months without drawing. Well, aside from doodles. When it comes down to it, though, only you really can dictate how you're going to make your artwork look. I mean, if you like anime style, do anime style. If you like something more realistic, do realistic. Oil or watercolor? Honestly, I've always loved watercolor. I think watercolor can be very nice when it's done right. I, unfortunately, have never been good at watercolor. It doesn't often, doesn't look great. It just doesn't often look that great when I do it. Don't like that at all. Let's give her freckles. I like freckles. Freckles aren't perfectly round, in all honesty. A lot of the time, freckles are actually kind of like little marks. There's our elf that has... Are you gonna update? You, there we go. Okay. Oh. Thank you, Autumn Ash. That's very sweet. But yeah, I encourage anyone who wants to draw, even if you don't feel like you're good at it, even if you get frustrated and want to stop, even if people tell you that you suck at it. Trust me, there's varying different levels of success, and you can't always compare yourself to everyone else. Compare yourself to yourself. Draw something now, and then draw something else a year from now. I guarantee you're going to do better. And that's all it is. It's just constantly improving upon yourself. And that goes for more than just art, so. Well, Ash, I would like you to draw. In fact, if you do draw, tweet me your drawing or join the Discord and post your drawing there. I would love to see your guys' artwork, and if you guys have any questions as far as art references, anything like that, I would love to help you guys with anything that I can. So, anyway, I hope all of you have a great night. My stream is done for today, and I will be off for the weekend, but you will see me again on Monday. And I hope all of you have a great night. Bye, my darlings. I love you. Hey guys, thank you for watching me. If you like what you see, why not click the like or subscribe button located below. It's because of amazing viewers like you that I am able to continue doing this and do the things I love and the things that keep you entertained, hopefully. If you have time, why not check out our website at www.quitsgaming.com and join our Discord, where we have a small group of people who do voice acting, play games together, do live streams together, as well as you can get your live stream added to it. So I will see you on there.